me on YouTube, baby. I don't have YouTube, but all of you can follow me on Instagram at Danny Limelight, and then you can tag Sammy Guevara at Sammy Guevara of the footage of me whooping his ass.
Here we go for another edition of Jofo in the Ring. And yes, I'm in studio with the one, the only, the Boricua Grim Reaper, the Puerto Rican Poppy. He's the hottest free agent in professional wrestling. Give it up for Danny Limelight. What's going on, Danny?
What's up, Jofo crew? How y'all doing, man?
Good.
That was a really good introduction, you know. I felt like I was getting ready to the ring, you know.
That's the truth, man. You are the hottest free agent in professional wrestling right now. And as we saw you on AEW Dark, you killed it on honestly, you killed it on AEW Dark. I have to say.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. It was a unforgettable experience, you know. Something I've been working so hard for, something I've been grinding and really putting in the work for, and then, you know, getting in the ring with, you know, that explosive team of Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt, you know, three amazing athletes, three amazing competitors, and being able to tear it up with them in the ring alongside Jersey Muscle was pretty cool, man.
Do you have you wrestled before with Jersey Muscle before? Because I've never seen them before, but they look like a great tag team as well.
Yeah, that was my first time meeting them, man. They look good. They big dudes, you know. They have a good vibe to them. It was funny because a couple of my homies that had watched, it was like, you guys blended well together. Like, you guys looked like
it really did. Yeah. It felt like you guys have tagged with each other before.
That was literally my first time meeting them, though, man. They were cool dudes, man. Shout out to Jersey Muscle.
Yeah. Shout out to them as well. Yeah, it just goes to show how great of a versatile wrestler you are, because you could fight with anybody, and fighting with Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus is like that's your first match in AEW Dark. I'm sure something you'll never forget. What was the process of how did you get in contact with AEW? How did they get in touch with you to come on AEW?
Well, I don't want to really talk about how like all that stuff, but I will say that when I got contacted, and they were telling me to come for this day, and I came out there and stuff like that. Just it's crazy when you work so hard for something, when you start something and you have like a vision, you know, a 5-year plan or whatever, you know. And when I first started wrestling, you know, AEW wasn't a thing yet, you know. So my goal was, you know, I want to wrestle for WWE, you know. I want to wrestle.
It's everybody's dream, right? To be a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, I want to wrestle for New Japan, you know. Like I had a whole blueprint of like how I figured it out,
step by step. And
when AEW came about, you know, a lot of the guys that I wrestled with here in SoCal, because believe it or not, in my opinion, SoCal produces the best wrestlers. If you think of SoCal talent, you got Scorpio Sky, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, the Young Bucks. You know, you got Samoa Joe, Jake Atlas, you know, all these superstars are coming from SoCal. And there's many, many more. I'm not gonna sit here all day and name them. But when it first came out, a lot of my boys got signed, you know, guys that I had wrestled, guys that I had trained with, you know, seen on the loops and stuff like that. And so when I got to AEW, and I saw that I was, you know, gonna wrestle Jurassic Express, like that was dope, because when they were getting ready to sign with AEW, you know, they were training with me. I was training with them, you know.
That's great.
It was me, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and John Morrison, you know, right before he re-signed with WWE, and we were all working things, you know. We was like really going over moves and things like that, and combos and stuff, just training, grinding it out. And when they signed and John re-signed, like, we would still link up, you know, at the you know, Gymnastics Olympias and stuff like that out here in LA, just to work on new things, you know. And they were my boys, you know, so like they trusted me enough to like go over this stuff with them. So, and it had been some time since I'd seen them, but when I got there, you know, and I seen that I was wrestling them, I knew it was gonna be fire. Like I knew it was gonna be a banger. I knew I was gonna be able to showcase my talent, and I knew that even though I was going in there to win, and they were obviously going in there to win, you know, that it was going to be a competitive matchup, and I believe that, you know.
And it was, of course
it was. Yeah. You know, I really, and it was well received on the internet and stuff like that. It was a humbling experience. Everybody was great. You know, I enjoyed myself a lot, and
I'm sure just to sit back and see like all the praise, like I said, like I discovered you on Twitter, and I'm seeing everybody freak out. I'm like, Danny Limelight, and all the people that didn't know who you are. I'm telling them, like, guys, watch this guy. He's gonna do something. I'm telling you, he's the next big thing, because, like you said, you're a hustler. And 2019, you wrestled in 25 different promotions. So just to say, you didn't sit on your ass and just say, hey, you know what, it's gonna come to me. You went out and went to go get it. So
you know what's crazy is that I didn't even know I wrestled in that many promotions. I don't even know where you got that stat from.
Well, we pulled it up on Cage Match.
Oh, okay. They do keep the track of that stuff, huh? That's crazy. I didn't even know I did that. I know what I do know about 2019 was that, in my eyes, I said it was going to be the year of the spider, and the biggest thing that I did there was I made 2 debuts. I made my debut for Impact, and I made my debut for AAA. And I think that, wrestling in all the states and different companies and promotions that I wrestled in, I thought that after I wrestled my match with Impact that I was going to get signed by Impact.
Well, that's where your mindset is. You think as soon as you get in there, it's like, okay, now I'm going to stay here. But now your stock is growing now, right? Like, so.
Yeah, and honestly, like, what's for you can be taken for you. Everything from you, what's for you can be taken from you. Everything happens for a reason. I thought I had a great showing at Impact. It was well received, but it didn't happen. I just figured, I had to keep grinding. My boy Chris Bay got signed, and I was happy for Chris Bay. Shout out to Chris Bay. And I told myself, like, I've never been a hater. I'm definitely the person that believes that everybody can eat in this business. Even TJ Perkins said it. TJ Perkins was another good homies of mine. And he was like, I can eat without taking anything off anybody else's plate. And so that resonates with me and stuck with me. And I was like, I just got to keep grinding. It's going to happen for me if I continue to work hard. So I had a 2020 vision. I ended up separating my shoulder in December. Okay. And I thought I was going to be done for a while, but I came back in a month. I was like, I can't sit out. Like, I want this to be my year. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, damn, like, I had a lot going for me, and this is going to slow me down. And I sat back, and my roommate, PJ, shout out to my roommate, was like, bro, just hustle, bro. It's going to come. Just hustle. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let the pandemic be an excuse. I'm going to grind.
Of course.
And I wanted to have a better year than I had the year before. I feel like as long as every year you're improving and having a better year, you're on the right track. And so I had a 2020 vision, and I turned this. This has really been the year of the spider. I feel like this really has been my year.
It's all coming together for you now. Like, everything's just falling into place.
It feels really great, man.
And you you were also featured in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Global as well. Can you talk a little bit about that as well? Like, that's exciting too. Like, right, in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes. Well, I need to take a second to thank David Marquez, for being the guy that I give all my credit in my career to, because when I was kicked out of my pro wrestling school and was told I was never going to wrestle again, he brought me into Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Wow. It was like, so I was 9 months in the business making my debut on TV for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And I was just a green kid, didn't know anything about what I was doing in the ring. I thought I was good, but looking back at my matches, I really wasn't.
Okay.
And he's the one that got me working TV and understanding TV. And that's where I met Rocky Romero. Shout out to Rocky Romero.
Yeah.
Became a mentor of mine, kind of, and somebody who looked out for me and always showed love. So last year, right before I separated my shoulder, he invited me out to the New Japan Pro Wrestling tryout at the LA Dojo. And in this tryout, I teamed with Mysterioso, and I wrestled the Regal Twins, and we had a fun little match, and I got some good critique, from Rocky, and Shibata was there, and the Young Lions were there.
That's great. You gotta soak all that in, right? As a young wrestler, exactly.
It's crazy, like
I'm here.
I'm in my debut with Impact, Impact didn't sign me, and now I'm having a trial with New Japan, like for me, that was huge,
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, like let's see what's gonna happen. And then everything that I talked about before happened, and then I got the call from Rocky, and he was like, we're bringing you in, Lions Break Collision, and your debut match, you're gonna wrestle TJ Perkins.
And that's honestly TJ Perkins.
He's like one of the best in the world, in my opinion.
His resume speaks for itself. The guy is a great wrestler, and to wrestle somebody like that probably made you feel more comfortable wrestling on that show as well.
What's crazy? I had wrestled TJ Perkins. In 2019, I wrestled him in San Diego. And I beat him, and it was just like. He had just came back from WWE, and I was like, "Fucking wrestling TJ Perkins," and I was a little nervous,
I would be too.
Yeah, and then when Rocky told me, "Hey, you're wrestling TJ Perkins," I was like, "Let's go!" Like, I know I'm ready for this match now, This is my big opportunity. Like, I really need to show out. I really need to showcase. And then being in the ring with somebody like TJ Perkins, who's an expert. He's a wrestling guru. I don't care what anybody says, if they like him or not. TJ Perkins is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He makes everything look so easy, and just having that match with him was dope, man. It was a great way to dip my feet into New Japan Pro Wrestling.
He's been like all over the place. He's been all around the world, and like I said, his resume speaks for itself. So fighting somebody like that, I'm sure it helped you like in that match as well, because I'm sure like fighting bigger guys, it's a different match. Fighting smaller guys, but he has the same kind of style as you, so it kind of benefited you in the end too, right?
It did. I definitely believe that it benefited me. I definitely believe that he was definitely someone who, you know, we have a good relationship. So I felt like he wanted to bring his A game, so that way, you know, steel sharpens steel. And like I told you, he says, I can eat without taking anything off your plate.
But that's how it should be, right? That's how it should be. Like, you shouldn't be.
It should be that way. But not everybody thinks like that. But
I'm sure there's a lot of animals out there like that too, as well, right? And it's sad to say, like, and you don't want to be associated with people like that, because they're just going to bring you down, right?
Yeah, but he lives by those words, and I felt like he showed it to me once when we first wrestled. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was just some kid he never met before, so he didn't have to have that match with me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm coming off WWE. I only want to wrestle big name guys. He wrestled me. And then this time around, like, again, he was like, "All right, I'm wrestling Limelight. Let's get it popping. You know, let's do this. And I'm forever grateful for TJ. He's somebody that, you know, I can hit TJ Perkins up, and I can send him a link to my match, and he'll watch it and give me his feedback. You know what I'm saying? Amazing, he's a master of the game, and he's definitely someone who looks out for the newer guys. So I really appreciate that.
At least you could, if you have something to ask, like to some help or some guidance. A guy like that under your, like, to be under his wing is phenomenal. Like to because I know, like, in independence, if you don't wrestle, if you don't hustle, nothing's gonna happen for you. So you have to throw yourself out there. And I know in Montreal here, everything is shut down. I don't know how it is in the States now, but here everything's shut down. And we've had a couple of wrestlers on, and they're salivating to do something. So they'll be on social media. They'll just keep their name out there, you know. So how's the pandemic like working out for you? I know that you can't obviously sit on your hands, but you have to hustle there. So
for me, the pandemic has been the best thing that ever happened to my career. Yeah, you know, between wrestling and acting and stunts and writing my own movies and spending more time with my daughter. It really like motivated me to keep grinding and not to be that person that's just sitting down all day, not doing nothing, not getting anything done. You know, really, really like staying on the grind, busy schedule. I really took the pandemic and I used it as like my own little hyperbolic time chamber where I grinded, trained hard, worked my ass off, stood busy, you know, between the filming, the commercials, the auditioning, spending time with my daughter, working on her auditions, helping her with her auditions, wrestling, traveling, just everything. Like I really just took it and said, this is not going to be an excuse. It's going to be fuel to the fire. And that's what I did.
That's, you know what, that's good for you, because you know what, a lot of people could have said it's very easy to quit and say, you know what, okay, the pandemic's happening, you know, I'm going to take a break. But you took it the other side of it and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this and make myself better. And as we could see right now, AEW Dark, New Japan Pro Wrestling, hey, the sky's the limit, man.
Primetime Live. Can't forget about Primetime Live.
Primetime Live. The, United Wrestling Network as well.
United Wrestling Network, yep.
I saw, we were looking through some of your matches, and we saw that you fought Sammy Guevara as well.
Yes, I wrestled Sammy Guevara. It was last year, 2019, April 18th. Okay. It was. Yeah, Sammy's one of my boys. I just made a cameo in his like recent blog. Blog, you know. He's one of my dudes, man. Sammy's a good guy. That match with him was right before he got signed to AEW.
Okay. Wow.
So it was another guy that he could have been like, oh, you know, I just got signed and I don't want to, you know, wrestle and da. But instead he came out and we had a fire match, man. It was a good time. Like, yeah, I really appreciate Sammy. It was a fun match. I definitely want to do it again, though. Like 100% sure.
Well, we want to see it on AEW Dynamite, so that'd be the
that would be something. Like, that would be something that I'm definitely down for. I'd be down to wrestle Sammy anywhere.
If Sammy leaves the inner circle and Santana Ortiz looking for someone to jump in with them, you know, there could be a story there.
Real quick, shout outs to Santana and Ortiz, man. I got love for those dudes. They holding it down for us New York. And you know, we got a good little relationship going right now. You know, just on the homie level, peer to peer level, just out of respect and shit like that. And I've seen a few people saying already, like, oh, Limelight and Santana and Ortiz. Hey, look,
I'm
man.
sure everybody's saying it. They're like, when is it going to happen?
Ricans, you know, the thing about Puerto Ricans, we know somebody who knows somebody who got love for somebody, and you never know what could happen, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any friends that are in the WWE umbrella right now that you could say, like, your friends that you call and say, hey, what's going on and stuff?
Yeah. Shout out to
you said John Morrison, you said already. Yeah,
John Morrison's my boy, man. I was actually in his new film Speed of Time. If you look at the new film Speed of Time, I did all the stunts for the villains in that movie. Oh, wow. He whooped my ass throughout that whole film. Pretty cool. But yeah, John Morrison, I trained with him. He's a good friend. He's a great dude. You know, I grew up watching him. I didn't grow up watching him because I was already in high school when he was like really, you know, doing his thing with Eminem, and then when he became John Morrison and stuff like that. But watching him wrestle and watching him do his thing, you know, the way he moved in the ring, he was always awesome. And then when I met him, it was like, man, like meeting your heroes, like in the right way, though, you know. And,
for real, it's real shit.
You're a homie of mine, you know, Lacey Evans. Shout out to Lacey Evans. I love her, girl. You're killing it. She's a future world champion, women's world champion. She's great. I love Lacey. Humberto Carrillo, that's my boy. Dominic Mysterio is my boy. Angel Garza, and a lot of those guys I know from the Crash in Mexico, wrestling at the Crash. Humberto and Garza, those are my dudes. You know, Jake Atlas, somebody else I trained with. That's Lince Dorado, another Puerto Rican doing this thing. You know, I met him at the Crash a few years back, and you know, we be on fucking Call of Duty Warzone and shit like that. I've seen
that you wrestled a lot of tag teams with Papa Esco. Can you describe people that don't know who Papa Esco is, so you could give them a little insight on?
Papa Esco is the king fat boy who's always hungry. Matter of fact, he's always starving. That's my boy. That's my tag team partner. We're from the bodega. You know what I'm saying? And he's a heater, man. He's a big dude. He got a lot of heart to him, a lot of fight to him. He could talk on the microphone. He's a real good talent who many people have not heard of, surprisingly. Yeah. You know, and now I'm happy that now, you know, me and him are rocking together, and more people are seeing him, and he's got my back, I got his back, and we're doing things in the tag division, especially in the United Wrestling Network, and we got our eyes on the tag team championship. So run that shit.
We also went into deep too, and we noticed that you were a Marine for 10 years. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Do you bring anything that you've learned in the Marines to your wrestling career, your professional wrestling career?
I did 10 years in the Marine Corps, like you said. I got out of the Marine Corps as a staff sergeant. I was a drill instructor. The Marine Corps definitely prepared me for life in general, training wise, you know, getting me into the best shape and having that discipline to grind. Another reason why I had the discipline to work through the pandemic instead of being lazy.
Exactly.
I just bring that heart, that attitude, that confidence. You know, that when you're a Marine, you're confident. You're proud of who you are. You know, you take pride in what you're doing. You don't accept anything less than the best. And that can rub a lot of people the wrong way, especially in this business. But for me, you know, I don't really care about the haters. They're going to talk about it. But I carry myself with pride. I carry myself with confidence. I move that way, you know, and it's that endurance, that stamina that I got through the Marine Corps. Like I bring that into the ring, and I bring that fight to the ring, you know, that first to fight, never say die, you know, no quit mentality. That's me. And that's definitely something that I grew up with in Brooklyn, and that's definitely something that the Marine Corps just forged through fire.
Yeah, it's like, because going through the Marines, it's that discipline. It goes a long way with your wrestling career as well. So it goes both ways, right? Like you have to be disciplined and you have to be patient. And like you said, 20/20 vision all the way, and look where you are now. So like I said, you're the American dream.
That's what it's all about, right?
That's it, exactly. Is the AEW Dark going to be a one-off thing, or is there we're going to see you in the future?
I mean, I guess
Dark,
people are going to have to tune in. You know, I guess people are going to have to stay tuned in to AEW Dark. You might even.
We want more of Danny Limelight if it's on AEW Dark.
I bet if you tweet it out and let everybody know.
I definitely will. You know that.
I guess the best thing to do is just tune in Tuesdays to AEW Dark. You never know when I might make another appearance. You know what I'm saying? It might be as soon as next week. I don't know. You gotta watch. You gotta just watch.
And Bruno, you said that he's very good friends with Ray Phoenix and Pentagon.
I don't know if they're good friends, but I saw that you guys work together a lot.
Yeah. Those are my boys, you know.
We saw some great matches with those guys too.
You know, Ray Phoenix and Penta. I wrestled Pentagon twice now. I wrestled Phoenix once. Love them dudes, man.
Yeah.
I can't say enough things about them. You know, those are my boys. I love them. You know, and I'm so proud of how far they've come from Lucha Underground days to now. You know, and really just taking over. Like, you know, they call themselves the best tag team in the universe for a reason. They're that damn good.
For that reason.
You know, shout out to Penta and Fenix. Those are my boys, and I appreciate them and all that they've done. Fenix has helped me a lot with my rope work. You know, things that I do in the ropes, and I'm grateful for him for that.
Is there a place where you get to go like in the ring and stuff and train like outside of the AEW and New Japan Wrestling? Is somewhere where you could like go and train like in the ring and something? Because I know everyone doesn't have a ring at their house, but are the gyms open in California? Or
there's no gyms open. Okay. However, you know, I do a lot of parkour and stunts, and I think that's where I get a lot of my stuff from. You know, just working out there in the parks, jumping through the parks and running through the streets, and just training my body nonstop. You know, I wrestle a lot now, so I'm in the ring very often. So it's good that I don't have an actual ring in my backyard or like an actual ring somewhere I can train at, because I give my body time to rest. I feel like if I had a ring in my backyard, I'd be in there every day. And then
no kidding.
Yeah, but now that I'm wrestling a lot, you know, I can take these days and just rest my body. And then if I go run some parkour routes, I'm basically training my footwork and things like that. And just really in the gym. There's no gyms open, but I have like weights and stuff like that where I'm working out and trying to like, you know, keep the physique and fitness going. Just grinding, man.
How does the process work on AEW Dark? Is it? I know that obviously it's filmed. Is it before Dynamite or is it after Dynamite? How does that process work? How do they bring you in and with the they had to test you guys before and everything? I know the process of the coronavirus testing in AEW Dark is top notch. So they're taking care of everybody.
Shout out to the medical staff at AEW, making sure that we're all COVID, you know, safe and stuff like that, and keeping us out of harm's way and keeping us healthy and stuff like that. Really take care of us there. But they do an amazing job with like the medical staff and making sure that we're tested before getting there, and then retested again for blood work once we get there for the antibodies and things like that. And if they feel like there's any reason why you may have the symptoms or you may have this, then they won't let you compete.
Okay, that's good. Did you end up seeing Cody Rhodes or Kenny Omega in the back? Chris Jericho. I'm a big Chris Jericho fan all the way. So like that's probably one of my dreams. So maybe you did meet them in the back and said hi, hey, what's going on, Chris? Or
I met everybody that was there. You know, got
great.
You know, to conduct business like a professional with everybody and stuff like that. I definitely had, you know, some good talks with some good people and stuff like that, especially after my match, and I appreciate them for that as well.
Well, you had Taz commentating for your match. I know Taz is a New Yorker as well. So
yeah, man, Taz. You know? And I think Miro was there too.
Miro was there too.
What popped me was hearing Josh Matthews announce me. You know, and
that's the feeling. It's like, wow, it's actually happening. You know, like I'm sure it took a little bit to sink in, but once you're walking down that ramp, it's like, okay, there's no turning back now, right?
Yeah. That was as soon as the music hit, it's game on for me. Yeah. I don't let the bright lights or anything like that like make me nervous. I turn that switch on and I'm ready to go at that level.
I want to ask you just quickly, because like we're up here in Montreal, like we said, and we're looking up your stuff, and like obviously, like we obviously went through down the YouTube rabbit hole and found all kinds of like crazy stuff, right? But we see that you're working with a lot of promotions, so maybe just let us know where exactly we could find some of your stuff where you currently have, you know, where your storylines going on and stuff like that. If we want to follow you.
Yeah. Well, everybody can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Limelight. I have a Pro Wrestling Tees store. It's prowrestlingtees.com/Danny Limelight. But as far as matches, if you go to CW30 Wrestling, CW30 Wrestling, they're associated with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and the United Wrestling Network. They have a whole playlist of like my matches with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood this last year.
Okay.
You can see a lot of my stuff there. New Japan Strong, I'm on there almost every week. A lot of my matches are there. I just competed in the Lions Break Crown tournament.
Yeah, that was great.
Went to the finals and wrestled Clark Connors in the finals. Shout outs to Clark Connors
for
winning. Primetime Live on pay-per-view on Fight TV. I've been on 4 episodes so far out of the 7. I think I'm tied for the most appearances with Chris Dickinson, who I just wrestled at GCW.
Oh, wow.
And now, you know, with AEW kicking off, hopefully you'll see me a lot more there. I used to have a YouTube channel with a bunch of like old matches and stuff like that. Those are all gone now. YouTube kind of like took out my account for some weird reason. But if you just look up Danny Limelight, I'm sure a bunch of stuff will pop up. But most of my stuff mostly is with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and New Japan Strong for sure. I think there's a lot of new stuff up there on New Japan with me, so definitely want to check that stuff out.
So the goal, like right now, I know that you're checking off the checklist now. AEW, New Japan, excuse me, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is there something else that you want to achieve in your professional career right now? Is there something that is like, I still have to do this?
The only two places that I haven't wrestled yet is a Ring of Honor ring, and aside from my WWE tryout match, I've never wrestled live with WWE.
Okay.
For me personally, I just want to be a household name. I want to be financially free. I want to live in abundance of a lifestyle that my daughter doesn't have to worry about anything. And so my goal is to obviously be signed. I know everybody keeps saying I'm one of the hottest free agents. I'm a free agent. And I feel like when the time is right, God's plan, I'm going to sign somewhere. And when it happens, it'll be the best fitting place for me. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see what that is or where that's at. And honestly, just continue to grind, man, and show everybody that this year is not a fluke. Obviously, you said last year I wrestled for 25 promotions. Yeah. I did my thing last year, but this year has been better. And just want to continue to show everybody that I get better with time. And my grind isn't going to stop. I'm not satisfied yet. Everybody's like, oh, you made it. No, I didn't make it yet.
Exactly. It's never over yet. Yeah, exactly.
I never been the type to scratch on the door or knock on the door. I'm trying to kick doors down. That's what I was trained to do for real. And really continue to seize these opportunities and not let, everything that I got going for me slow down.
I noticed, I was going to ask you who your favorite wrestler is, but I know that it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Can you tell us a little bit of a background of why Dwayne The Rock Johnson is your favorite wrestler?
Honestly, for me, it was just his promos in the 90s and early 2000s. I'm definitely someone who prides myself. I don't care how good you are in the ring. If you can't talk on the microphone, to me, you don't have that it factor.
That's it, exactly. Sometimes you need like a lot of wrestlers out there can't talk on the mic, so that perception of them it hurts them too, right? They could be the greatest wrestlers of all time, but once that mic goes up, it's like, oh, I can't say nothing. I'm all flustered.
Yeah, having a good match is important. Being able to wrestle is amazing important. But if you can't talk people into the building or talk people into wanting to see you, then you're not. So the way he did everything with the microphone in the ring, his music, electrifying everybody, just the moments, that did it for me. And then he went into acting in Hollywood and stuff like that. And that's, I made the transition from wrestling to acting in Hollywood now. Now I'm doing stunts and acting in films and commercials. Like, he just inspires me so much. He's a good human being. He's a good father, first and foremost. And he grinds so hard. He has his hands in so many different pots and pans, and
he didn't stop.
He's cooking up so much things, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't quit. He's not satisfied. He's the highest paid actor in the world. Never took a single acting class.
Yeah, imagine.
How? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's inspiring, and that's why he's my favorite of all time. But when I look at people who I used to watch when I became a wrestler, I had not watched wrestling for a while. So when I started training, I turned on Raw. And Seth Rollins turned on the Shield. So immediately I was a Seth Rollins fan. Started watching all his stuff. And then I remember I used to love watching Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton. So those are the guys that I watch, on a regular basis. I watch a lot of old Eddie matches, a lot of old Rey matches. I like watching Orton for the little things that he does in the ring.
The technicalities of Randy Orton. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people diss Randy Orton saying he has boring matches,
He is the best.
But technical wise, like, he's probably one of the best in the game right now. Like, you can't
I don't care what anybody says. He's the best. Yeah. Everything he does in that ring is flawless. Yeah. There's no wasted movements. Everything is smooth, crisp. Like, he's that damn good. But yeah, definitely The Rock is my favorite of all time. So.
Were you you said that I think you said that you watched Bad Blood 97 and you saw the cage match.
Hell in a Cell.
Have you obviously fought in, like right now with your movie, like your movie career, you're a stuntman and everything. So that like the wrestling aspect is helping the movie career as well, right? As a stunt guy, right?
So for me, it was Hell in a Cell, Taker and Michaels, obviously, in Bad Blood, and I've only been in 2 cage matches in my whole life. I've never been in a Hell in a Cell because I don't think that exists on the independent scene, But the stunt stuff, wrestling definitely bled over into that, and it was an easy transition for me, and it has helped me a lot, and especially with being in front of the cameras my entire wrestling career, being able to talk on the microphone, things like that has helped me with my acting career as well, and I'm super grateful for how, God lined everything up to make it all fit together for me like one big peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Have you ever fought independently in Canada, in a promotion in Canada by any chance?
I've never been to Canada. I've never even been to Canada. I want to, though. I would love to wrestle in Canada. I would love to visit Canada. I want to wrestle in Japan. I lived in Japan when I was in the military.
Really?
I wrestled there, yeah. I've been to a lot of countries in Asia and stuff like that. I just never wrestled anywhere outside of America and Mexico.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to, once these things slow down with the COVID, I'm hoping to
that's
make
it. That's
my
what's happening
debut in Japan. More specifically, Best of Super Juniors is the goal. So we will see.
Who's your dream match for a New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler right now? If you could handpick the one you want to face right now,
there's two people. I want to wrestle Jay White, and I want to wrestle Will Ospreay. Those are the two people right now in New Japan that I want to wrestle.
And those guys have they wrestle similar to you, so that's why I think too. Like a lot of people don't like wrestling bigger guys or smaller guys, but I find you're right in that range where you could fight a big guy like Luchasaurus, and you could also fight a guy like Jungle Boy as well. So Will Ospreay and Jay White, those are two phenomenal wrestlers. I'd love to see that match as well.
I would love to, especially with New Japan Strong being a weekly thing. I'm hoping that I get in the ring with Jay White a lot sooner, and then another person would be Kenta. Obviously, I would love to wrestle Kenta. So the only thing I could do is keep grinding, and eventually, I'm sure the match will happen.
And I'm sure the match, exactly. It's like I said, like the way you're going right now. If you keep yourself going like this, the sky's the limit for you. And honestly, there's nothing like New Japan Pro Wrestling. And is it your dream one day to wrestle in WWE, or is it just now that you're with AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's like an afterthought now?
I think that I don't close any doors. I leave every door open. I would love to wrestle for WWE in the WWE ring. I'm still a free agent. I could wrestle wherever I want. I could wrestle whoever I want. And I think that, when the time comes for me to sign somewhere, it's God's plan, and I'm gonna end up where I need to be. But I'm not closing any doors. I'm not saying, I don't want to wrestle here. I don't want to wrestle there. I just want to wrestle right now, and I want to wrestle the best. And I just want to, add value to whatever company or promotions I'm wrestling for. I think that's very important.
Because me personally, I could see you. I would love, like, one guy that pops to mind in WWE that I would like you to wrestle personally would be Samoa Joe, and that's a guy like. Have you ever met Samoa Joe or fought Samoa Joe before?
I've never met or wrestled for Samoa Joe. Never met him, never wrestled him. I've actually never heard anybody say that. Usually people say, "Oh, I want to see you wrestle Ricochet. I want to see you wrestle John Morrison." I would love to wrestle Ricochet. I've never wrestled John Morrison. That's crazy, but I would love to wrestle John Morrison.
You've known Ricochet all these years, and you're not on TV, like?
No, I never known. I've only met Ricochet 2 times.
No, I'm talking about John Morrison. John Morrison. Yeah.
I've never wrestled him. Only in training,
Okay.
But never an actual competitive match.
Okay. So wow, John Morrison. Okay. So then, and then AEW Dynamite. I'm sure everybody's busting you now, right? Saying, when are we going to see a Puerto Rican faction on AEW Dynamite? And there's 2 guys that come up to mind, Ortiz and Santana. So I don't know. Is there talks about that, or are they putting in the good word for you? Or?
Right now, Santana and Ortiz are with the inner
circle, but the inner circle looks like it's crumbling. So I don't know.
Talk to Jericho then. They have to talk to Jericho.
I should have been at the town meeting, and I should have just been like, "Hey, this question is for Santana and Ortiz. Timo, can you guys come pick me up or what?" Like, I don't know. I don't know what there's talk of. All I know is that I got to continue to work my ass off.
That's it, exactly.
And if we want to see a Puerto Rican faction on TV, that's something that I want to be a part of. I'm a huge supporter of representing my culture, my people, my city. So I think it would be a good fit, me, Santana, and Ortiz. But that's not in my control. That's not in my hands right now. And so all I can do is grind.
Good. So the projects right now, with New Japan Pro Wrestling Global, where can you find that? Is there a website, or you have to?
New Japan World.
In Canada, it's a little bit different. Like, you can't really. There's not a lot of stuff you can watch from the U.S., so you have to have the location. Like, a lot of people from Canada. So if you want to explain,
you got to go to newjapanworld.com. I think it's like $9 a month.
Okay.
And you get unlimited access to all the content. You know, you could have watched the G1 Climax on there, you know, New Japan Strong weekly episodes. All that stuff's on newjapanworld.com for a monthly fee, I think like $9 or $9.99, something like that, $10. And you just type in New Japan Strong and all the episodes are there. That's the best way to watch it.
Okay. And like you said, you could find Danny on Twitter and on Instagram at Danny Limelight as well. And I think you have a Facebook as well, a Facebook page.
Yes, Danny Limelight as well.
Okay.
And TikTok too is at Danny Limelight. Everything is Danny Limelight. Just type Danny Limelight.
It's exactly like ours. Ours is too is the same thing. At Jofo in the ring. Jofo just means just our fucking opinion. So basically, we have a sister show that's on Mondays, Jofo podcast every Monday night, and we have a wrestling podcast, Jofo in the Ring, for Wednesdays as well. So. Danny, is there anything else you want to plug or anything on the show?
No, I just want to thank you guys for bringing me on. And just once again, just follow me on Instagram, Twitter. If you want to see me in certain places, I'm sure if you tweet it out, the word gets out there, it'll happen. And you just look up, show love. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/Danny Limelight and buy a shirt. I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to do this again.
Hey, Danny, you know what? We're going to be watching very closely and hope to see you. You know what? My dream right now for you and AEW is to take that title away from Cody Rhodes. That's my... you know what? That TNT title would look good around your waist.
I think so. You know what I'm saying? Get it around the house. But I want it. I want it all.
Guys, thank you very much, Danny Limelight. I really appreciate it. Guys, go follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Danny Limelight. Us as well, Jofo in the Ring, on all platforms, and our YouTube page as well, Jofo in the Ring. Danny, thank you very much. And we're going to see you on AEW Dynamite very, very soon. I can't wait for it.
Thank you, guys.
I don't have YouTube, but all of you can follow me on Instagram at Danny Limelight.